What's the difference between cocaine and Blue Lock? The answer is nothing. They're both equally addictive. Why is this the case though? I think it's because the manga literally drip feeds that dopamine straight into our brains. Blue Lock is so f***ing unhinged. I mean, this manga is literally anything but football sometimes. Like, you can't look at panels like these and not question what's going on through Isagi's head. Having said that, if there's anything that Blue Lock does really well, it's the plot. And trust me, the mangaka be cooking for real though. Well, as I said before, Blue Lock is a football manga, but it handles football in an interesting way because instead of treating the sport as a 11v11, which is what it's supposed to be, it's instead treated as a 1v21. And that is why Blue Lock is so interesting. It's an all-out battlefield where each player is trying to survive on their own 2 feet and develop their weapons to be the one that crushes everyone else. Ego. That is the main theme of Blue Lock. With the egocentric mindset, you can score goals and win, even if it means winning by sacrificing your team. The current best player in the Blue Lock universe is Noel Noir, who says, "I feel better losing 3-4 after scoring a hat-trick than winning only by 1-0 with an assist." I honestly had never heard anything like that before, especially since I had come to love Haikyuu so much, which is literally all about the spirit of the team. But that is what elevates Blue Lock above everything else. Everyone strives to be the best, but only for themselves. And before we go anywhere, here's yet another reason why I love Raichi so much. This man was running at a 20km/h pace for 1 hour, 13 minutes and 49 seconds with no signs of exhaustion. He's running at a pace of 3 minutes per kilometer and would have completed a half marathon in 63 minutes.
Whoa!
To put that into perspective, that's only 6 minutes off from the current world record. Jacob Kiplimo ran a halfer in 57:31. Raichi is only 17, but if he ran at full effort, he probably would have broken the record. Hashtag they did my boy so much dirty. Getting back on the topic though, the players showcase all they have in an attempt to surpass those around them. Hell, even crush them, just so that they can be the victors, because if they fail, they would never be able to play football for Japan again. And with stakes this high, the plot is anything but slow. The characters have to constantly undergo growth in order to keep up at Blue Lock, and those who fail to do so or lack motivation end up lagging behind and eventually cull. In a way, Blue Lock's main philosophy is survival of the fittest, or in Darwin's words, the one that is most adaptable to change. And as such, characters such as Nagi, who are an incredible genius in football but lack any main motivation to be better, end up losing to characters like Isagi, who lack such immense raw talent. However, it's not enough for the characters to grow by themselves, as they eventually end up reaching a plateau. And that is why the Blue Lock environment is always offering new challenges. Challenges and stimuli to help our characters grow. From the first selection's goal to help our players figure out their weapons, to the existential threat that was the Japan U20 team, and now to the neo-egoist league, where the Blue Lockers are exposed to the sheer talent of the world. The circumstances surrounding the players only reach higher peaks, allowing the players themselves to surpass their previous limitations and grow once more. So, what do we have so far? A storyline that's always a life or death situation? Check. A fast-paced story with minimal fluffing about? Check. Unexpected twists? Check. Good character development through an excessive use of suggestive innuendos? Not so sure about that one. Blue Lock follows a very simple recipe for success. A key ingredient from the recipe is character design, which has taken heavy inspiration from external sources. Let's just run through some of them real quick here. Ready? Let's go. Meet Ichigo from Bleach, a goalkeeping Tarzan. Kazutora, but instead of stealing bikes, he's playing football. Connie, but he is absolutely fucking useless. And of course, who can forget, the random guy from literally any hentai. Blue Lock does a great job of providing us with a lot of different characters, some fodder, some key to the plot, and some that have been forgotten. I'll only cover a few here, but honestly, the Blue Lock universe has so many different characters that I just love. Let's start with an easy S tier character, Gotomaru, aka the best goalkeeper in Blue Lock. This man hates any sort of cutlery, but that kinda explains why he's so good with his hands. He survived out in the wilderness, making him a man of his instincts. Also, he's the only one that can probably survive this. This man is both the most hilarious and the most serious person at the same time, and I just love it. Hyoma Chigiri. As fun as it is to make jokes about this guy's poor knees, his Godspeed is undisputed, which he uses to efficiently and quickly snipe off goals. And his speed is very useful on the wings. Bro is literally cooking harder than the entire Manshine squad combined right now, because he has more goals than our prodigy, Mr. Seishiro, who we will talk about later. The lovely red-haired princess is definitely someone who takes good care of his hair. Take note, Mr. Rock, although it might be a bit too late for that now. The curly-haired Bashra, who I had so much trouble drawing, has his pacey and stylish dribbling, which when combined with Ginga can carve up the entire field. His ego is unsurpassed since he's got that avatar in him, as is his creativity when it comes to getting past tough defenders, and his plays are just so incredible to watch, it's amazing. Also, his favorite word might just be Wednesday.
Wednesday the taco.
Bachira as a character you cannot help but love. Ichigo! He was the moral compass of Team Z with extreme shot power and an impressive physique, but his dreams of becoming a footballing superhero never came true. So when presented with an opportunity to continue his journey and become stronger, Kunigami decided to follow the path of the wildcard trials, which made him into the emotionless cyborg he is now. Still, Kunigami holds on to his egos, values, and his ambition of becoming a footballing superhero, otherwise he never would have passed the ball to Usagi. So Kunigami.
Arise.
Raishi is one of my favorite characters in Blue Lock, I don't know if you can tell. This extremely hot-headed man is so underrated that it's criminal, and I really hope he gets more spotlight in the current match against Big She. Hell, this guy was dueling against Mark Snuffy, and he did a damn good job man marking the world number 2. He's funny when he rants, he's got guts, and most of all, he's got a sexy football. I obviously have a bias towards him, but I don't care, fight me. And last but not least, Usagi Yoichi. A great football strategist, his ability can only be attained if you're an anime MC. His ability grows in much the same way as Sun Jinwoo, in that when faced with strong opponents, managing to overcome the obstacle somehow will result in explosive growth. Don't get me wrong, as much as I love Usagi and how he adapts to just about everything, sometimes it seems like the circumstances for his growth need to be harder, especially since he's now both a defender and an attacker. Also, I really wanted Bastard to lose against the Ubers, so that there would be some incentive for them to grow stronger and fight against PXG, which arguably has the most important matchups of the entire NEL, like Puzzle Boy vs Drooly Boy, Gamer Boy vs Crow Boy, and Cyborg Boy vs Demon Boy. Some other characters who I quite love are Baro Shoei, Seishiro Nagi, Ryusei Shido, and Rin Itoshi. I'm not gonna go through them all in the same detail because you kinda get the point of this section already. So, Blue Lock characters, any percent starts now. Baro. He is one of the best long-range strikers on par with Rin. His selfish playing style as a king is reflected in his character design with his spiky hair, tall stature, and his dominating presence. Don't f with King Baro. Nagi. Mr. Latent Potential here has the ability to trap just about anything, controlling the ball as if it's another limb. A prodigy without a genuine drive towards football, he's on a downfall arc right now, but watch out. If he makes it out, more shots such as the 5-shot revolver fake volley will be born. Rin. Rin has been chasing after his brother his entire life, with the goal of utterly destroying him. His overall stats are the best in Blue Lock, and if he can enter the flow state willingly, he will be unstoppable. But I really do miss the days of innocent tongue-inside ice cream eating Rin. Shido. This horny demon is such a massive pervert that he is probably banned from within a kilometer of any football stadium. But his skill and flair is undeniable. A man chasing the ecstasy of scoring incredibly difficult goals, he is the pinnacle of instinctual football, and pushing limits, chasing that which he desires most. Also, his dynamic with Charles is way too funny. And the timer comes to a world record! Yay! Also, can I just ask a very stupid question? What the fuck is Hajime Nishioka? He was hyped up as Aomori no Messi, but man has yet to play in any games that even show him. How is he in Manshine's squad and even has a 3 million yen offer, but never once played if he's supposed to have skills similar to the GOAT himself? Yes, I know it's not stated, but come on, the name implies at least some resemblance. Also, I can list so many reasons for why I love Messi. He is one of the best players in the world, he has an amazing personality, and he always provides for a great visual spectacle for anyone that watches him play. Wait. Blue Lock has some of the best art seen in recent sports manga, and this is reflected in the manga sales for 2023. Blue Lock, which only started serialization in August 2018, had 239 chapters at the end of 2023, and it managed to sell 10.5 million copies. It outsold absolute giants like Jujutsu Kaisen, One Piece, Chainsaw Man, and My Hero Academia, and that is some serious competition. The visuals present interesting symbolism, and the weapons of each player have some sort of thematicism going on, such as the motif of a red panther for our speedster Chigiri, which depicts their character's strength as well as their playstyle. Let's take the case of Lavinio for example. Lavinio exhibits a carefree and hands-off nature with a great deal of focus on creativity and the process of scoring a goal. Lavinio is a great dribbler, and he incorporates Ginga into his dribbling style to imagine himself as a butterfly that is flying across the field. Butterfly effect is a notion that states that a very small event can influence a much larger and complex system, like how the discovery of penicillin was the cause of skibidi toilet even existing. I can't believe those words just came out of my mouth. Ugh. Anyways, so when Lavinio gets the ball, which is a small event, he is able to score a goal and change the entire dynamic of the match in Bartra's favor, finishing of course with a flaming butterfly. Lavinio fully embodies the butterfly both in his playstyle and in his finishing. Another short and sweet example of this is Karasu. The name Karasu literally means crow, and when he makes plays on the field, which we need more of, it feels as if we're watching a crow take flight. Not just that, we also know that crows are amazing problem solvers, and Karasu's input-output playstyle reflects that wonderfully. The visuals also serve to show the power of each player's weapon, and the player's mental state in that moment. And a classic example of this is Isagi. When Isagi scores his first ever direct shoot, you can see that he has a very concentrated look, but normal eyes. Then when he does his lefty shot, he looks noticeably more unhinged, and his eyes seem to suggest that he's in the flow state. And now finally, when he does the 2-gun volley, you can see that he is fully off his rocker, and his eyes are absolutely f***ed. He is at peak performance. He was fully immersed in the flow state and was able to pull off a 3x chemical reaction with Hiyori and Kunigami. Also, the 2-gun volley is the best goal of the series so far. The lead up, the challenge, and the big middle finger to the top players in the NEL right now makes this a hype goal that no one can stand against. And cool visuals are a strong aspect of why I love Blue Lock so much. I mean, just look at the snake defense. One is Aiku's defense against the Blue Lock 11, and the other is Ryo's copy of the same defense in the same match. We know that Ryo can copy abilities once he's seen them to about 99% accuracy, and the visuals show that even though Ryo is using Aiku's defense, that ability is not his own, as Hiyori points out. In Aiku's case, his snake has been given full detail, with shading on the scales, an opaque form near Aiku showing full materialization, and a smooth curve to the snake's body. Ryo's copy on the other hand lacks the same detail, instead being switched with the use of a holographic outline of the snake with a hatched rectangular pattern, including details like the fangs, eyes, and the forked tongue. The snake also has rougher curves. This is a clear representation of how, even though Ryo can copy the ability, it is not by any means perfect. And that leads me to my final point, that I am terrible at segues. The mangaka have clearly put in a lot of effort to get the details right, and their love for creating such jaw-dropping visuals makes the manga such an enjoyable read. I can go on and on about Blue Lock, and there is still so much lore to be found, themes to be explored, and the personalities of the characters to be categorized, that this video alone cannot do it justice. I know that I can't draw well, but you surely get the reference, right? But yeah, I want to keep making videos about Blue Lock and other such manga that I love, and you bet that there will be more of where this came from too. Hehe, peace!